What's up, y'all, and welcome to another episode of Mixing with FM. Now, the topic of this video is going to be how to add depth to your mix using Ambience's effects and reverbs. This video is going to be a little bit marketing because I just dropped a new Ambience sample pack on my label Elixir on Splice. Now, I'll leave a link down in the description for the sample pack on Splice. And I should probably play you guys some of the samples in the pack.
Elixir.
So without further ado, let me hop into the computer and let me show you guys a few tips and tricks on how to create depth in your mix with ambiences. I use effects and ambiences in my tracks in the background to create a sense of detail. So when you're listening to it, there's always more going on than the actual lead sounds. So let's have a look here. This is a break from a track that I'm working on right now. Let me play you guys the full thing as it is right now. And now, let me play you guys the thing without any effects on. Alright, so that's basically only vocal, kick, and bass. So let me play you guys the soloed effects just so you can get a feel of how much these ambiences actually play a role in this break, even though they are not the lead, so they're mixed behind everything else. Yeah, also got a stab here that's in the background. These ambiences are creating a much more detailed track than it would have been without it. Even though they are not lead sounds, this is something that you're not really gonna hear a lot if you just listen to the track on your phone or on a laptop. But when you're listening on a big stereo or your speakers or your headphones, you hear detailing in the track. Alright, so let's have a look at the specific samples we got here. So they're actually all in key. Either they're playing the root key of the track, or they are pitched to a 7th, which is something that could create some pretty cool tonal ambiences. Now, let's hear out the ambiences here. Yeah. So a bunch of different tonal sounds. Now, a cool trick with these samples is that you can pan them from left to right and have some in the left and some in the right, because they are in the background of the track. So it's not really gonna be as crucial having everything straight center. So this is some samples that you could really pan out and spread out if you want to create a bigger depth in your production. So the new sample pack has a lot of these samples, like ocean strings, for example. Or this ambience, or even vocal ambiences like this. This is actually me yelling and then just putting on reverb on it. Let me actually show you guys an example of how I make these samples. So we'll take an audio sample. Let's go for some vocal stuff.
You see,
Oh. This is a perfect example. We have a vocal shout which is pretty short. Now we can make an ambience out of this. So let's try to put it here in the break. So, right now it's just rough. What we want to do here is use a convolution reverb. I'm using Space Designer Logic. I also really like the new Chroma Verb from Logic. Maybe let's try to use the Chroma Verb on this one because it's more visual. Now you can do this in all DAWs. Like Ableton has a cool convolution reverb, and I think Fruity Loops has one too. But let's get the sample here. Let's put it and choose a big room. Let's get the area. And then what we'll do here is we'll turn the decay up. In your plugin, it could also be called reverb time. So basically, this is the release of the reverb and how long it's going to be. We're going to turn the dry down and the wet up. Just adjust these knobs a little bit. And now, what we'll have is a way more ambient sound instead of the up. So it's going to sound like this. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is just process it a little bit. Let's just turn it down. Here we go. Let's see, we're going to low cut that. And with these ambient sounds, what you generally want to do is take a bit of the high end, because they're going to be in the background and you don't want them to stand out that much. So just take a few dBs off the high end. And what you could do here is take a pitch plugin and make it so that the sample is in key. That is the rookie. Let's see here. Now what I usually do with these samples is I play around with the panning as well. So we could create a really cool effect using either just automation, or you could use plugins like AutoPan or Tremolo in Logic. Let's just try to do this. Let's try to pan a little more. Bam. Now what we have here, let me just turn it up so you guys can hear it. What we have here is a sample that sounds like this. Bam. So we'll have, let's see here, make it a little bit less dense, and just EQ a bit of high end off the EQ. Bam. All right, off the reverb, of course. Yes. Now what you could do, if you want a longer tail on this, you could put a delay on the reverb. For example, like this. And that's pretty much how I do a lot of these ambient samples. Now the key with this video is just to show you guys that having small sounds in the background of your tracks can really make a difference to the listener, whether or not they perceive the track as being detailed. When I listen to a lot of the newer electronic experimental stuff, and there's like a bass glide thing in the low end below 100 Hertz in the left ear, I'm like, oh my god, that's a dope producer. So yeah guys, ambience and effects is key to details and depth in your mix. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. Let me know how you guys make your ambient or your effects samples, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Now make sure you go check out my pack on Splice, Vital, Ambience. It is out now. So I'll be catching you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace!
Baby, I'm a son on the beat.